India was nervous as heck about President Trump. That said, we went to Eastern India, which is by far the most innovative and entrepreneurial part. We did a trade mission there, met with 40 or 50 companies, some of which are thinking about getting a foothold in the United States. I had to spell Connecticut for them, but now they know.
Well, you have to spell Connecticut for me as well. Governor Lamont, Blumenthal out as well on this yesterday. You take electricity from Canada. If Doug Ford of Ontario or Quebec Hydro, if they pull the plug, what's it mean for Bridgeport?
We have some very high electric prices throughout New England, including Connecticut, and we bring down a lot of hydro from Canada. So you put 10% on there, that would add about $75 million. You put 20% on there, that'd be $150 million in additional fees paid for by our ratepayers. Not a great idea.
So, Governor, as you've probably seen here in the financial markets, which Tom and I deal with every day, a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace as it relates to economic policy of this new administration. We're seeing that in lower stock prices and weaker dollar. How do you see it from Connecticut? How did you and your constituency look at this current environment?
I come out of the business world. The business world hates uncertainty.
Yep.
When I took over Connecticut, we were going from boom to bust, a bust, and raising taxes. And we've had 6 straight balanced budgets, trying to give people a little certainty. Our unemployment rate is way down and job growth is up. But it's just the opposite in Washington, D.C. right now. All that uncertainty, starting with tariffs, looking at deficits. A lot of businesses said, I think I'm going to hold off right now before I make that investment. That's not good.
So in Connecticut, what are the chief issues that you guys are dealing with from an economic perspective these days?
Look, we're looking at our 7th and 8th balanced budget, unless they cut Medicaid by $1 billion. You cut Medicaid by $1 billion, our budget is turned upside down, and that's true of 49 other states.
What are you hearing from the federal government about some of those big ticket items?
I don't think they know right now. I was down there. I met with folks. The secretaries had just come into office. They're coming up with their modeling, but everything runs through the White House.
For those of you across the nation in your commute today, a Democrat, the governor of Connecticut is with us, Ned Lamont, as he tiptoes through all this different policy changes we're seeing. I'm going to cut to the chase. You got a vote of confidence from the people. You got 49% of the vote and won in 2018. I'm going to call it barely. You improved dramatically in 2022 with 57% of the vote. What do you say, really the polarity of the nation on right and left, but what do you say to the Democratic Party as they address from a left liberal point the reality of a centrist Lamont and others as well?
A centrist Lamont probably is going to disagree with the Trump administration on a majority of things, but start with areas where we can find some agreement, we can work together. For me, that starts with energy, the high price of electricity. The possibility that we could bring in natural gas or expand nuclear in our region would be transformative. A place where I've been meeting with the secretaries down in Washington, something we can get done together.
Right. Well, let me we're at a piece of chalk in our hand at Harvard years ago. Ned Lamont, did the Republicans win the election? Did Trump win? Or did the Democrats lose the election because they were too far left?
I think Trump won. He won because it was a change election. I look around the world, nobody wanted more of the same. And I think a little bit Kamala got stuck with the Biden legacy, couldn't differentiate herself from there. And believe me, Donald Trump represented change.
When you think about the Democratic Party today, a lot of folks are saying, where's the leadership? Because it seems like President Trump and his administration are taking all the oxygen out of the room. Where is the Democratic response? Where's the Democratic policy? Where's the Democratic leadership? Who do you think is the leader? Does the Democratic Party have a leader these days?
Well, when we're not in power, you tend to have a lot of different leaders. I'd start with the governors. The governors are not making everything a battle about Donald Trump, but when it comes to Medicaid, we're going to hit hard. We're going to work with Republican governors to say, uninsuring these poor people is just going to drive a wedge into your hospitals as well, make a difference. Find areas of specific interest and focus on that, rather than just make everything about Trump.